Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, connecting with the previous lecture, we have just finished the discrete probability distribution. In discrete probability distribution, we discussed several types of probability distribution. For example, we have already covered binomial distribution, hypergeometric distribution, negative binomial distribution, Poisson distribution, and multinomial distribution. There are also some more discrete probability distribution, but actually need, in order to cover the contents of this course, we not include all the discrete probability distribution. So I only discuss those distribution which are more relevant to this business statistic course. So in today's lecture, I'm just going to start continuous probability distribution. So as you people remember that I have already defined what is the difference between discrete probability distribution and what is continuous probability distribution. So random variable have two main types. One is discrete and one is random. So discrete is when it takes value as a whole. For example, number of students, number of chairs, number of tables, number of light bulbs. But continuous will take values in an interval. Continuous will start from a lower bound and will finish at an upper bound. And we will include all the area in those two intervals, in those two bounds, upper and lower bound. For example, if you want to measure the area, then you will start from a specific point to another specific point. For example, if you want to count the distance speed, so it will also a continuous phenomenon. If you want to measure someone's height, it's also a continuous phenomenon. If you want to measure that how much rain from 9 to 10 o'clock, if you want to measure how millimeter of rain occurred during this time, so it will be in the millimeter. So this is a continuous phenomenon. Time is also a continuous phenomenon. So in order to go to further discuss the continuous probability distribution, I'm just going to start once again that a random variable x is defined to be continuous if it can be assumed every possible value in an interval a, b. A will be lower than B because A is the lower bound and B is the upper bound, where A and B may be minus infinity to plus infinity respectively. The temperature at a place is an example. So the temperature will be going up, it will be 331 point something Celsius. The amount of rainfall, time to failure for an electric system, we not know when this light bulb will stop working. We not know when a specific car will stop working. We not know when a specific machine will stop working. So it's include a time phenomenon. So when a time involved in some specific system, these are the example of continuous random variable. Just like we have already explored the discrete probability distribution, so in the same manner I will also discuss the continuous random variable. We have already discussed the probability distribution function or the probability mass function of discrete random variable. So in this lecture, I'm just going to tell you, to define you how you will write the probability distribution function of a continuous random variable. A random variable x may also be defined as continuous if it is distribution function, which we will denote with the capital Fx, is continuous and is differentiable. So this is very, very important. If it is continuous means if it is in a specific interval, in those interval, if there is some specific bounds, upper and lower bound, and is differentiable. So is it differentiable or not? If it is not differentiable, it means it's a constant, then it will be equal to 0. We will not be able to find the probability density function. And the graph of fx has no jump or steps, but is a continuous function for all. So as I already mentioned that in a discrete we will consider like this, just like we going on stairs. But in a continuous, it will be a moment like this. It will be a moment like this. Okay, or it will be a moment like this. So in a circle. So a random variable x may be defined as continuous if its distribution function is continuous. So this is continuous now. It's a curve now. There is some seasonal variation, ups and down with some specific time period, and it's differentiable. And the graph of fx has no jump. So now there is no jump, sudden jump, but in this one there are jumps. Okay, are steps, but in a continuous function for all x. The derivative of f of x be denoted by differentiate f of x divided by d of x. Differentiate f of x with respect to x. So we will write this f of f when you take the integration of this, if you want to calculate the area from A to Z, so mean A will be the lower bound and Z will be the upper bound. So we can write it that the area, for example, if we want to calculate the area from A to B, A is the lower bound and B is the upper bound, and we will write this f of x d of x. So it will give us the area. Okay. The derivative of f of x be denoted by this, and f of x we can write because integration is the opposite of differentiation. So minus infinity to plus infinity f of x. So we will get the value of this. Or if you want to take, if I take the integration of this, so integration will be cancelled with this. Okay, it will become f of x, and because we taking integration on both sides, so this will be f of x minus infinity plus infinity. So in a specific question, they will give you these upper and lower bound. They will give you a specific interval. That the death rate, let's suppose an example, that the death rate among the kids, the early born kids whose age are from 10 days to 35 days. So now 10 days to 35 days. 10 days is the lower bound and 35 days is the upper bound. So we can calculate those kids, we can calculate the probabilities of those kids who die, whose age are between 10 and 35 days. So we can easily calculate those probability distribution function. So the probability density function, just like we studied for the discrete probability distribution function, it will also be similar, but now we will not include the summation. We will include the integration. The function f of x is a probability density function. PDF for a continuous random variable x defined as a set of real number if f of x is greater than or equal to 0. So as we already mentioned in the probability, that probability will always be equal to 0 or greater than 0. And the total probabilities will be equal to 1. So the total area will be equal to 1. So the function, this function will be greater than or equal to 0. This function will never ever be negative. So for all x belong to real number. The second property, the sum of area under the curve, all the whole area under a curve will be equal to 1. For example, if I draw this, okay, so the area, this whole area under this curve, when you calculate, when you measure this area, it will be equal to 1. So how we will calculate? Because now this starts from minus infinity and until plus infinity. So if we integrate this minus infinity to plus infinity, and f of x, the function of this, which is a normal distribution, d of x, when we calculate, we will get this 1 or 100%. The third property is, if you want to calculate an area, for example, if we want to calculate A and this is B, so if you want to calculate this area only, not the whole area, so you can easily calculate this by putting summation integration from A to B, where A is less than B, A is the lower bound, B is the upper bound, and the function of this equation. So we will be able to get this area. We will be able to get this area where A and B all belongs to real number. Okay. Note, for a continuous random variable x we have in general. So this will not be, function of x will not be equal to probability of that. Okay, just like in discrete probability distribution, this function, this probability distribution will be equal to the probability. For example, if I throw a coin in a discrete, because it's a discrete phenomenon, the sample space will be, it will be head or tail, and the probability of head will be equal to the probability when x is equal to head, it will be equal to 1 by 2. And the probability of tail will be equal to, when x is equal to tail, it will also be 1 by 2. But in this case, it will not be equal to, because this is a continuous phenomenon. Probability of x is equal to A is equal to 0. Why? Because continuous phenomenon relying on an interval. So if there is no interval, for example, if you want to count, if you want to start someone height, so height start from 0, or if you want to start height from 1 inch to, let's suppose 15 inch. So how you will calculate? Or if you want to calculate the area from a specific, from A to, if you not know this, so how you will not be able, if you want to only calculate the area of this A, so this is a constant point, it will be equal to 0. The probability of x is equal to A will be equal to 0. So if you have some specific interval from A to B, then you will be able to calculate this area, just like in this. If we want to calculate the area of this one point, A is equal to, let's suppose this is 1. From 1 to a specific point, from 1 to 2. From 1 to 2, how much area covered? So we will be able to count it. But if you want to calculate the area from A is equal to 1, it will be equal to 0. Similarly, probability of x is greater than or equal to A and x is less than or equal to B, we can easily write just like in this example. I already wrote this, that x will be greater than or equal to A and it will be less than B. So we will be able to calculate the probability of x. And this one is that mean the area, if you want to calculate the area of f of x, so you will put the upper and lower bound in this area, A to B, and you will be able to find that area. In this example, you can see these are the curves. So this is not mean jumping steep. These are not the steep. Okay, these are the curves. So mean if you want to calculate the area under the curve, you will be able to take minus infinity because the lower bound is minus infinity and the upper bound is plus infinity in this case. And f of x is the function of this equation because this is x. This is mean x-axis and the function of f of x dx. So the whole area when you calculate it will be 100%. If you want to calculate the area only from A to B, you will write it x is greater than or equal to A and x is less than or equal to B. So you will take the integration from A to B, f of x, d of x. So you will be able only to calculate this area. Similarly, if you want to calculate this area, you can see this area. We are not interested in this whole area. So probability of x, now x, we are only interested in that x which is greater than or equal to b. So mean this is equal to b and greater than b. So how we will calculate? So this is my lower bound b and this is the plus infinity. So from b to plus infinity, you will be able to calculate b to plus infinity, you will be able to calculate this area. If I ask you calculate this area only for me, so now this starts from minus infinity, because this is minus infinity, we not know that where it's finished. So minus infinity to A. So minus infinity is the lower bound and this A is the upper bound and f of x, and mathematically we will write this probability of x is less than or equal to A. Okay, I'm just going to solve some more example in order to let you understand that how you will calculate area, how you will calculate probability, how you will calculate a specific portion in a specific example. The probability that a continuous random variable x lies between a lower limit a and an upper limit b is, so a and b we want to calculate this area. How we will calculate? So x which lies between a and b, this blue, so x is greater than a and x is less than b, cumulative area of the left of b. So how we will calculate? So we can calculate that probability of x is less than or equal to x is less than b. So this whole area will be x is less than b because this is x-axis. So x, when x will be less than b, so this means b is, let's suppose 10, below 10 is x is less than b minus probability of x is less than a. So x is less than b will be this whole area, x is less than b, and x is less than a will be this area. So when you deduct this small area from this, so you will get this area. So this is just a visual representation that how you will calculate a specific area between a specific interval, between a specific portion. So at this way you will be able to calculate the area. Okay, I'm just going to start a simple example. Suppose that an error in reaction temperature, so temperature, time, all these are continuous phenomenon. So make sure that you understand discrete and continuous. So if the basic concept of discrete taking whole value, continuous taking value as an interval. So if these two simple definition if you understand these two simple definition, it will be very easy for you. Suppose that the error in the reaction temperature in centigrade for a controlled laboratory experiment is a continuous random variable x having the following probability density function. Now this is function which is give us the function. This is the upper limit and this is the lower limit for this x. If you construct this, if you draw it, it will be look like this. You can see if you draw this, it will be look like this. In a Cartesian coordinates, it will be look like this. Okay. Otherwise, it will be 0. 0 mean it will be lying over this. Verify that f of x is greater than equal to 0. So let me check it. As I already mentioned, the function probability will always be equal to 0 or it will be greater than 0 and the total probability will be equal to 0. So now you put, let me put, because the lower bound is minus 1. So minus 1 f of x, because the rest one is 0. So 1 over 3. Let me put minus 1 in this. So this is a quadratic function. So 1 over 3 and this will be 1 because minus 1 square is 1 over 3. So it will be positive. So yes, it is greater than 0. Okay. If you put, let's suppose 0 will also be because minus 1, 0, 1 and 2. Let me put 0 in this. So 1 over 3 minus 0 whole square, so 0 square will be 0, so it will be equal to 0. So we already verified that f of x is greater than equal to 0. The second one is minus infinity to plus infinity f of x d of x. So this is general formula that the area of a specific curve under minus infinity to plus infinity will be 100%. It will be equal to 1. The total probability is equal to 1. So now we want to calculate only this area from minus 1 to 1. So it is very easy. It is not difficult. In the next slide, I will calculate this. That f of x is greater. So I already proved this because this is a quadratic function. Now in the second question, they are asking minus infinity to infinity f of x d of x is equal to 0. So I have already calculated this minus infinity to plus infinity f of x d of x. But in our question, the question is that the lower bound starts from minus 1 and finish upper bound is 2. So minus infinity. We will start from minus infinity because minus 1 x, this is 2. So because the general formulation is minus infinity to plus infinity f of x d of x. So we will start from minus infinity to minus 1 and f of x d of x plus. Then in the next, when you reach to, let me draw it, minus infinity, this is minus 1, this is 0, this is plus 1 and this is plus 2. So we complete this minus infinity to plus. Now minus 1 to 2, we will direct write plus 2 because this is already mentioned in the question. This function is defined only for this interval f of x d of x. So because the function is 0 other than for other interval, the function is equal to 0 for other interval, but the function is, so from minus infinity to minus 1 this will be equal to 0. From plus 2 to plus infinity, it will be equal to 0. So you need to understand from plus 2 to plus infinity, it will be equal to 0. From minus infinity to minus 1, it will be equal to 0. So we will only consider, because the function is only defined for this interval from minus 1 to plus 2. So that is why minus 1 to plus 2, we just write equal to 0. Minus 1 plus 2, and the function is 1 over 3x square dx. We just put because the function is f of x is 1 over 3 x square. This function is defined only for this plus 2. So we just write this function, and from plus 2 to plus infinity, because this is equal to 0. From plus 2 to plus infinity, this function is equal to 0. So we just write 0. So when we simplify it, as you people already studied integration in your matriculation and you already know in the business mathematics that